Before we start the video, I want you to subscribe to the best Telegram channel at the first link in the description, where we show our earnings on cryptocurrencies, and not only. Our capital that we manage is more than $3 million. Thanks for subscribing. Also in the description is a links to verified exchangers, when you register on which you get a welcome bonus from me. Let's get to the video. Last week was the hottest week for the crypto market. After all, in just 7 days, we saw how the second cryptocurrency exchange of the world, FTX, went bankrupt, how Solana coin from the top 10 lost 70% of its value. Well, of course, we cannot forget about Bitcoin, which fell to $15,000, which, for a second, the lowest price, and last time we saw it in the distant 1,009. It is worth noting that we haven't seen such a panic on the market since the Terra Luna collapse on May 5. Of course, when investors realize that the second exchange in the world has unsupported token and big problems with solvency, the confidence in the market just disappears, and the doubt about any future of crypto becomes more and more. So, in this video we are going to summarize the results of the last week. We are going to analyze what is going to happen next week. And today, you will find out how the world's second crypto exchange went bankrupt. Why is the popular Solana coin on the verge of collapse? Can Bitcoin reach $10,000? What will happen to the cryptocurrency? Hello everyone, you are on the Cryptanic channel. I want to say that only thanks to your likes and subscriptions, we release videos much more often and better. So, before watching, put a video like and subscribe to our Telegram channel, where we publish the latest crypto news for you daily. After all, it takes a long time to create a video on YouTube, and on Telegram, we're 24/7 on call, so you always know what's going on with crypto. So, if you're not there yet, by all means, go over. In advance, everyone, thank you, and we'll get started. The first thing I'd like to do is, for those who may not have been following much of what's going on, to run through the chronology of major events and recent news from the FTX exchange, after which all this crypto chaos began. It is no secret that during the last 2 weeks the market was showing recovery, and, as they say, nothing foretold trouble. But on November 2, the balance sheet of Alameda Research, founded by FTX CEO Bankman-Fried, was leaked. This leak was that the bulk of the firm's balance sheet consisted of the very same FTT tokens, namely, of the firm's $14 billion, $5 billion worth FTT tokens. Such data led to suspicions that Alameda was directly related to FTX. At first, they didn't pay much attention to it, but on November 5, alerted its users that almost 23 million FTT tokens worth $500 million were transferred to Binance from an unknown wallet. After which, many began to worry that soon, all these coins could start selling. To calm the panic, the CEO of Alameda said on November 6 that the leaked balances do not reflect the entire history of the company's assets. Those statements may have calmed some investors, but not Binance, which caused Changpeng Zhao to say the same day that Binance would get rid of all FTT tokens in order to minimize the exchange's risks. And Chaz confirmed that those 23 million FTT coins were the ones they transferred to Binance to start selling them. After these harsh statements from Chaz, events began to unfold faster than Do Kwon fled South Korea. At first, Alameda offered to buy back all Binance tokens at $22 apiece, but Chaz immediately refused. FTT began to gradually decline in value, and investors began frantically withdrawing money from the FTX exchange before facing withdrawal restrictions. Curly Sam reassured everyone with his tweets that FTX was doing well and had money. But then those tweets were deleted for reasons everyone understands. Till the 8th of November, FTT token had lost almost 20% of its value, and exchange was losing thousands of users with every passing minute. And the heat started on November 8, when everyone started to more or less understand what was going on. And the FTX coin went down by 80. All this stalemate situation was understood from Bankman-Fried himself, after which he desperately asked for help from Binance and announced a strategic deal. Chaz also said that Binance was ready to fully acquire FTX. It would seem that the way out of the situation was found. Everyone seemed to calm down a little, and even crypto began to recover a little. But after one day Ches gives the said news that there is no deal and they don't want to buy FTX. This finally put a point, after which the market began not just to fall, but to fly at the speed of light, breaking new lows, because Bitcoin was up to $15,000. And, you must agree, it feels a kind of déjà vu, like we've seen it before, only instead of FTX was Terra Luna, and instead of Bankman-Fried, good old Do Kwon. Now, the situation is similar right down to the sad bailout plans. In fact, Bankman-Fried, too, has said he can solve everything. Only to do so he needs $8 billion, and all the losses and problems will be closed. Frankly, for that amount, I think I'd solve a lot of problems, too. But, of course, not $1,000 he didn't get. And, on November 10th, realizing that his ship called FTX had gone down, Crowley wrote, "Sorry, I screwed up and should have done more." Today, after much blocking of accounts, freezing of FTX assets, suspension of cooperation, and the beginning of proceedings from regulators, FTX is filing for bankruptcy. The bankruptcy filing states that FTX and Alameda Research have liabilities ranging from $10 million to $50 million, yet their coffers are completely empty and there is nothing to pay. That's the feeling when even $80 trillion won't help, because Bankman-Fried, literally in one day, lost 94% of his capital. He is now absolutely bankrupt, and if you have at least $1,000 on your balance sheet, you can consider yourself richer than Carly Sam. After declaring bankruptcy, Sam resigned, leaving the whole mess to his employee John Ray. In fact, that's pretty much the point of the whole story at this point. And it is not difficult to guess that the situation will not change for the better, but will only get worse, because we have seen how the number to top exchange was completely destroyed in 1 week. But you understand yourself that this event could not pass without any consequences, especially for cryptocurrencies, which are related to FTX. Of course, we are talking about Solana, because this coin is on the verge of complete liquidation. In fact, in the same week, it lost 70% of its value and dropped out the top 10 coins. So, let's take a closer look at what this cryptocurrency will surprise us with in the coming days. Over the years, Solana has been actively supported by the FTX exchange and helped it gain popularity. In particular, Solana is also the second largest holding for Alameda, which accounts for a second, about 10% of Solana's market capitalization. This caused wild concern, because if FTX were to collect that much Solana, many assumed that the exchange would prioritize its own tokens, killing Solana's price. Additional concerns began after information about Solana's 100 million unlock, and the possible chances of it being sold within 48 hours. Certainly, judging by the price drop, some portion had already been sold, and the investors did so in order to avoid large losses. On top of that, Solana's borrowers on the verge of liquidation to the tune of $40 million. But Solana's director, Anatoly Yakovenko, decided to reassure investors and tweeted that Solana Labs had no assets on FTX, so we still had the potential for a runway. And the director, Dexterity Capital, added that Solana probably suffers more from its direct connection to FTX at the moment than from any dismal long-term prospects. In fact, it is. After all, the problem for Alameda is that 75% of the Solana company have been locked up and could not be liquidated immediately. In addition to the fact that the company has already sold a lot of coins, it is assumed that the company still has over 19.5 million Solana, which analysts believe will be thrown into the market when the withdrawal of the stake is completed. If those accounts that were assigned to Alameda are really selling Solana on the market, then Solana would have, roughly, $330 million in it, which would need to be written off somewhere. That would be tremendous selling pressure and, in theory, it could trigger a new bottom, below the 12 we've already seen. It would be easy to point to the problem caused by Alameda Research and FTX and say that now would be a good time to buy Solana, because the forced selling by Alameda would eventually stop. But the reality is that network performance on Solana has been very bad for months on end. Real volume has been declining throughout the year, This shows a general lack of interest in the network. Part of this decline in volume can be attributed to the buyer collapse and the sale of NFT that occurred in mid-October. In addition, next week will be a very important week for Solana, as we will have to see the unlocking of 2,500,000 new Solana coins that will go into circulation, which will affect lower prices and potential sales on the secondary market. Consequently, due to pressure from sales, record low online activity, mass liquidations from validators, and of course, undermined investor confidence, seeing Solana's price recover will be very difficult. And the ongoing swing from FTX will only be able to concede the situation even more. If we consider as a whole the impact of FTX collapse on the crypto market, quite active movement we saw after Solana's bankruptcy announcement. The cryptocurrency market lost its market capitalization of $1 trillion, falling 18.3 to 800 billion. But more interesting, of course, is the price of Bitcoin, which was setting its lowest records the other day. Bitcoin was down about 7 to 16,300 after the FTX bankruptcy, and 25 since Monday. But then, after the report, Bitcoin rebounded slightly. Additionally, the rise was influenced by the US dollar index, which fell to and pushed cryptocurrency prices up. But these were short bounces that did not change the global situation. Now, Bitcoin is trying to trade in a range of 16 to 18,000. And the interesting thing is whether it will be able to get back to its level of at least 20,000. After all, inflation is kind of going down. Due to the fact that the market is in a mess right now, making predictions in the coming weeks or months is quite difficult, because everything still depends on the news around FTX. For the last week, crypto prices have been bouncing from one side to the other like a ping-pong ball. The same pattern is likely to be observed in the coming week. Investor confidence suffered most of all, after which the most popular exchanges began to publish their assets and tried to prove to everyone that their assets are real and backed by money. Everything is very similar to the story of Terra's collapse. After all, such events strongly hit the trust of investors and, therefore, it takes a little time to see the first glimmers of recovery. For example, after the fall of Terra Luna, crypto was coming to its senses for a month, looking for its trading ranges and support levels. So, we will see a similar picture on the market in the near future. And I would like to say that at this point, be extra careful before opening trades. Use small leverage and be sure to put a stop loss and take profit. After all, the risks are very high. I think next week will be just as much news as this week. So, subscribe to our channel not to miss it. Thank you for watching, and support the video with your likes. All questions you can ask in the comments. We answer every question. Good luck to everyone. See you soon.